If you would like to support the efforts and research we are doing here on this podcast, please go to podcast.discoveringyourmind.com and become a monthly supporter. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you. Aphantasia is a condition characterized by an inability to visualize mental images in one's mind. If you have just discovered that you or someone you love has aphantasia, or if you're just fascinated by the subject in general and love learning more about it, you are in the right place. The Discovering Your Mind podcast delves into all aspects of the mind's eye, including aphantasia, hyperphantasia, and everything in between. Welcome to the Discovering Your Mind podcast, brought to you by shanesbraindomain.com. I am your host, Shane Williams, also known as Shane's Brain, and today we're talking with the one and only Sami Williams. How you doing there, Sami?
Hey, I'm doing dandy. How are you?
I am fantastic. Thanks for asking. So what's up?
The sky.
You got your day off today?
Yep, just got my day off.
All right. Why don't you tell people what the heck you do for a living?
Yeah, so currently I'm working at Crumble. I'm managing a store. And in the meantime, I'm going to school to get my degree in family science and psychology.
Hey, did I mention that you're my daughter-in-law?
Oh, no, I don't think you mentioned that.
Oh, this is Sami, everybody. She's my daughter-in-law. She lives in beautiful San Diego, California.
I do.
And she crumbles and she philosophizes. I may have got that wrong. No, psychologizes. There you go. You enjoying those things?
Yeah, I mean, I'm crazy busy, but it's a fun time in my life right now. I live 10 minutes from the beach, so I go there all the time, and I walk my dog, and it's a good time.
That's a good life right there. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your hobbies and interests, things you like to do?
Right now, I don't have time to do those hobbies, but when I do have time, I love to do anything creative, really. Whether that's music, I play the piano and the ukulele. I love to write songs or just write in general, whether that's just my journal or like poems. Any creative outlet. I like creating art, painting, anything creative. Really, in my spare time.
Wow, me too.
Whoa, what a coincidence.
I didn't know you wrote poetry. How come you never shared any of your poetry with me?
So I haven't written them in a long time. Or sometimes they get really dark because I'm depressed.
So. That's cool. I'm cool with dark poetry. Whatever comes out of you, man.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll share one with you sometime.
Yes, I would be interested in that. In this episode, we will be referring to what we call the apple graph. If you would like to view the apple graph to play along and better understand what we're talking about, you can find it on shanesbraindomain.com in the Aphantasia and Beyond section. If you are unable to view the apple graph for whatever reason, it is a graph divided into 6 sections. In the number 6 section, there is a very detailed image of a red apple. In the number 5 section, it is the same image but with less detail. Number 4 is still in color but has less detail and more basic shapes instead of detailed hues and gradients. Number 3 is the less detailed apple but in gray tones without the color. Number 2 is a simple outline of the apple. And number 1 is blank, indicating no visualization whatsoever. This is called aphantasia. Well, let's dive in. The first thing I want you to do is picture a red apple in your mind. All right, now take a look at that apple graph that I sent you. Which one of those best represents what you saw in your mind's eye?
Number 5.
Number 5, okay. Would you say that's typically where you're at when you visualize? Pretty detailed, but not super, super detailed?
Yeah, pretty much. It depends on the context, what I'm given, because in my mind's world, everything is cartoony and fun and happy. I feel like I have the capability to picture a 6.
But it takes a little more effort.
It takes a little bit more effort, yes.
Gotcha. I know that you know a little bit about aphantasia because you've talked about it before. Did you know about it before I told you about it?
No, I had never heard of it. I was like, what is that, a type of elephant? Like, I had no idea what it was.
All right. All right. The next thing I want you to do is picture a horse in your mind. Is it like looking at a picture or just a thought or something else? How would you describe it?
That's a good question. You prepared these well.
Thanks. This is like the second one, so come on, let's get going there, Sammy.
All right, when I picture a horse, it's like looking at a picture.
Is the image more clear with your eyes closed or your eyes open?
With my eyes closed.
Okay. Can you do it with your eyes open?
I could. It doesn't feel as real to me.
Do you see the horse in your mind or is it projected out in front of you?
With my eyes open, it's projected out in front of me. With my eyes closed, it's in my mind.
Okay. That's interesting. There's no right or wrong answers, by the way. Whatever happens in your mind, we're trying to figure it out. So try and describe, if you can, what it projected out in front of you means. What is it like? What does it look like when that's happening?
When that's happening, it's like if it was right in front of me. Wherever my gaze is, usually I like to try to find some type of surface, whether it's like a wall or a counter or like on top of a desk on the floor. So whatever flat surface is kind of in front of me, with my eyes open, I kind of just project that image, and it's like watching a movie, like it's right there in front of me. I can make it, like in my mind, when you said picture a horse, I imagine like this horse with all its four legs, like kicking with like a goofy tongue, like dancing around. That's my mood right now. So the images kind of reflect my energy and my mood.
All right. So is the image solid or transparent?
Solid.
Okay. Whether it's in your mind or you're projecting, it's pretty solid?
Yeah, when it's projecting out in front of me, it's a little bit more transparent.
Are the colors vibrant or muted?
Vibrant.
Is it 2D or 3D?
Oh, I hadn't thought about that. Can I close my eyes again?
Yeah, do whatever you need to do.
Well, when I think of 2D, I think of like Flat Stanley, and it's not quite at Flat Stanley's level.
I love talking to you, Sammy.
I say it's 3D.
Okay. We're going to go with 3D. When you first pictured the horse, was it isolated or was there a background?
It was isolated.
Okay. Can you add a background if you want to? Like trees, blue sky, stuff like that?
Yeah, McDonald's, anything. Want to go get a Happy Meal?
Are you hungry, Sammy, or what's going on over there?
Maybe I might be a little hungry.
All right. Can you put a birthday hat on the horse?
Yeah.
All right. Now we're having a birthday party for the horse at McDonald's.
Woohoo! It's getting a Happy Meal. It's wearing a hat. It's blowing one of those things. What's it called?
A party favor?
Yes.
All right. If the horse blows in the party favor, can you hear that in your mind?
Yes.
All right.
Really, can I make it stop?
Is it hard for you to make it stop? This horse has got a mind of its own?
Sometimes.
All right. Next, we're going to move on to sequence visualization. So now I want you to picture a cup on a table that you accidentally knock over.
Oh, man. It's on the floor.
Don't worry, Sammy. It's not real. It's just your imagination.
Oh, good.
All right. What type of cup was it?
A yellow.
A yellow cup? What type of cup?
Regular household cup, not a mug. A mug with no handle. Oh, that's a cup. That's a cup.
All right. What about the table? What type of table was it?
Black.
How did the cup get knocked over?
Oh, it just fell.
Just fell on its own?
Yeah.
Were you in this image at all?
No.
Did you see yourself?
I didn't.
Okay. Just the cup and the table. When the cup tipped over, did anything spill out of it?
No.
The reason I asked this series of questions is I want to see what kind of details your mind is automatically filling in without me giving them. And it seems like yours is a little more basic than some of the other people I ask. A lot of the other people have a lot more detail. There's something in the glass, those kind of things. So did this sequence appear as a video in your mind or something else?
Yeah, a video. It's like somebody pressed play and then it was just like one motion.
All right. Did this mental image also have sound? Did you hear it in your mind?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to talk a little bit more about mind audio. Do you have an inner monologue?
Yes. Can it be singing?
It can be whatever it is. No rules, Sammy.
It's singing.
So what does that mean to you? What is an inner monologue to you?
An inner monologue to me, well, when you first said it, I thought of just my thoughts in my head that I talk to myself, I sing to myself. Like, for example, I have a song of the day. Every day I wake up and there's a song in my head. So I consider that the inner monologue.
Do you decide what the song is, or it just picks for you?
It just picks for me. I just wake up and it's there and I'm like, all right, we're singing this song all day long.
And it's a different song every day?
Yeah.
So when you talk about hearing your thoughts in your mind, is it like actually hearing it? You hear your voice?
Yeah. Like it's my audio just kind of talking through. Like I get up and I'm like, oh, okay, here's my song. This is my tune for the day. And then I'm singing my song and I'm like, okay, got to get ready for the day, brush my teeth. So I'm like talking myself through what's going to happen that day.
So the songs in your head, is that like listening to the radio?
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're a pretty audible person. Is there always something audible going on in your mind? Does it ever shut up?
I wish it would shut up. I've had to do a lot of mindfulness practice to get it to shut up because I feel like that's a main reason why I struggle with anxiety. It's because I'm so audible, so there's always thoughts in my head. And so I've actually had to work really hard to quiet them down.
And has that been successful?
Somewhat. I'd say 50% of the time.
What do you do to quiet it, and what is it like when it quiets?
It definitely took a lot of practice through mindfulness. So it didn't happen overnight. It was something I had to work at, mainly to quiet the overwhelming thoughts in my head. Because I have other thoughts running around. I guess when you initially asked the question, my mind went to the negative thoughts, but I have tons of positive thoughts. But to quiet those negative thoughts, I had to kind of sit in silence. And I usually liked some type of guide, whether that was an app, whether that was a YouTube video, someone kind of guiding me through to kind of calm my nerves. And they would say, oh, picture a road, picture all these cars on the road. And these cars are your thoughts. And let the cars pass by. Don't let them stop. Don't let them crash. Just let them keep passing through. And that was something that really helped me, was kind of just let those negative thoughts pass through and not entertain them. Because what would happen is, so let's say a thought would come through and it's like, Kelton, my husband. So a thought would come through and it would be like, oh, Kelton's mad at you again. And I'd be like, oh, man, why is he mad at me? Oh, it's probably because I loaded the dishwasher wrong or did this and that. Or maybe I'm not cleaning enough. Maybe I'm not doing this. And so I'll just entertain it and kind of have a conversation with that thought necessarily, trying to figure out why this thought is coming to my head. And so mindfulness has kind of just helped me let it pass without interacting with it. So now, let's say the thought comes through, oh, Kelton's mad at me, I would counter that thought. I would just be like, well, he might be. Let me ask him about it. Maybe he is. Well, what evidence do I have to back that up? And kind of think through it more logically. And then whatever I come up with, I let it be and I let it go until I have a chance to address it.
All right. That is very interesting. Thanks for sharing that detail. All right. Are sounds automatically attached to your visualization, or are they optional?
They're optional.
Okay. Would you say that most of the time, though, they're automatically attached? It seems like with the cup, it was automatic.
Yeah, the cup is automatic. I guess they are automatic because the horse neighed. I don't know what I'm saying. They're automatic.
Okay. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about the other senses now. So I'd like you to picture a chocolate chip cookie in your mind.
Gross.
Gross? Why do you say gross?
I don't like chocolate chip cookies.
Oh, you don't?
No.
You're one of the rare ones. Usually people get all excited about it.
I know. I'm that rare soul who hates chocolate.
Right. Okay. So this is going to be fun for you.
Oh, super fun.
All right. Can you smell it in your mind?
Yes.
How real is that? On a scale of 1 to 10, how much is it like actually smelling?
You know, I don't think I smell it because I imagined it smelling and I like grimaced. But like, if I think about it, like I can't actually smell the cookie.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Kind of, I guess. It's really interesting because I interview a lot of people and I always get something different. And with me, it's hard to even understand any of it because I hear people like you talk about, well, I imagined it. I didn't actually smell it, but I imagined smelling it. And to me, that really doesn't make any sense because I don't have this whatever type of imagination you're talking about. So that's why I asked how real is it? Because when I ask the question, can you smell it? And someone says yes, I automatically think, oh, it's just like smelling it in real life because I don't know another option. But apparently there are other options. And that's what I'm trying to get to and understand. All right. Can you taste it in your mind?
Kind of the same thing. So I guess yes, because I can imagine it. And so that's kind of what you're asking. So yes, but I don't taste it like on my tongue, like physically.
So if you're actually eating a cookie and you taste it, that's a 10.
Yes.
Okay. Imagine tasting it is what on that scale of 1 to 10?
Like a 6.
Okay, so it's still pretty prominent. In this episode, we will be referring to what we call the nature picture. If you would like to view the nature picture to play along and better understand what we're talking about, you can find it on shanesbraindomain.com in the Aphantasia and Beyond section. If you are unable to take a look at the nature picture, it is a picture of a grove of tall trees with the sun shining brightly through the trees. There is a blue camping chair next to a peaceful flowing river with a campfire nearby. Now I'd like you to take a look at that nature picture that I sent you. Can you put yourself in that picture?
Yes, I can.
Can you see yourself there?
Yeah.
Is it like you're looking at yourself there, or is it more like you're there and it's all around you?
I'm more looking at myself. You know when you see like a cutout image like on something else, like it's like a cutout and you like put it in like a really bad Photoshop.
Right.
That's what I imagined. Like I'm just like sitting in the chair and I'm like, that doesn't match. I'm not wearing any camping gear at all. I'm not wearing shoes.
All right. Still with you in that picture, can you feel the sun on your skin?
Still more visual. So we were to get down to the nitty gritty, no. Because I can imagine what it's like on my back.
Okay. Can you hear the river flowing?
Yeah.
Can you smell the campfire?
No. Guess the same thing. Man, it's really hard for me to distinguish. I guess there are no right answers. Yeah, it's just hard for me to distinguish. Am I actually smelling it, or is it my imagination? It's hard to tell.
Good enough for me. I don't understand any of it anyway. So, all right. So all of those things, how close to reality is it?
If I were to close my eyes, very close. And it wouldn't be a photoshopped version. But project with my eyes open and projecting it, yeah, I'm sitting in the chair. I stand up. My feet are muddy. I'm not wearing any shoes.
Okay, I am so glad you said that. So if I told you to close your eyes and do it, let's do this.
Okay.
Close your eyes. Picture yourself in that picture. Can you see yourself there?
Yeah.
Can you feel the sun on your skin?
Oh, it's nice.
So was it a different experience than with your eyes open?
Yeah.
Can you hear the river flowing?
Yes.
Can you smell the campfire?
Yeah, it's a lot more clear now.
Awesome. Can you sit in the chair?
Yeah, it's rocking.
Okay, so that's pretty cool. You're definitely having a different experience with your eyes closed than your eyes open. A pretty distinctive difference, it sounds like to me.
Yeah, that was a cool experience. Now I just want to go out into the woods.
Right. And even that right there tells me that it was much more real that time. So out of the 5 senses, which one is the most prominent or powerful in your mind?
Definitely the audio. So hearing.
Oh, really? Hearing. That's more than visual?
I would say audio because it's more stronger with my eyes open than my visual. Because audio, it's like a radio. But with my eyes closed, they're equal. Not one is stronger than the other.
Hey, fill the world with good vibes and positivity with our new Soul Relief brand t-shirts. Check it out at shanesbraindomain.com. All right, in general, when you close your eyes, what do you see?
Oh, with no prompt?
With no prompt.
It's just a sky with clouds.
Okay. Is that kind of your default?
No.
So when you close your eyes, do you automatically picture something?
No. I definitely have to be prompted somehow. When I close my eyes to go to sleep, I usually picture something to help me fall asleep. So I used to do like cake decorating. So I would picture myself like frosting a cake. It was very peaceful for me. Or I would picture a river to kind of like the sounds of the river to help me fall asleep. Or like when I do my mindfulness thing, I have a guide so it can prompt me to kind of walk through, like the road and the cars.
All right. So let me ask it this way. Before, when we were talking about the mind audio, I asked if there was always something going on in your mind as far as sound. And you said yes. So same question with visual. Is there always something visual happening in your mind?
Gotcha. That's a better comparison. No.
When there's not something visual happening, what is happening?
Oh, what's happening?
Is it just maybe that you're focused on reality?
Yeah, I think so. Because, that I've never thought about that before. So I'm kind of just over here thinking what the heck is going on with my mind.
That's why the podcast is called Discovering Your Mind.
Oh my gosh, I'm doing it.
Yep.
Oh, this is interesting.
So when I close my eyes, I see darkness. Does that happen to you?
Yes.
Okay.
It can.
Would you say that happens very often?
No. I guess kind of to go back to what you were saying, most of the time I am just kind of focused on reality, and I don't like the dark. So I open my eyes.
Okay.
A lot of the time.
All right.
If I ever intentionally close my eyes, it's usually the intent to go to sleep. I picture something.
How about this one? Can you think of nothing if you want to?
Yes. Well,
really?
Okay. How long?
Whatever the answer is.
It can be nothing due to my mindfulness training. That's kind of what mindfulness helps me do to calm down my anxiety. So I've definitely had to work towards nothing.
Okay, so when you get there, how long can you stay there?
Kind of depends on the day. Most of the time, not very long.
Well, that's cool that you can even get there. That's a milestone. That's an accomplishment, I think.
Yeah, it's been really hard to do. I've only achieved that within probably the last year or so.
All right. Does your ability to visualize vary depending on circumstances, details, and events? And I guess what I mean by that is when I first learned that people could visualize, in my simple way of understanding, I thought, oh, you can either do it or you can't do it. But the more I've talked to people, their ability to do it varies. Like sometimes under these circumstances, I can do this, but under these circumstances, it changes. Is there anything like that?
Oh, interesting. I would say my ability to visualize never changes. I guess there is the difference between like my eyes open and my eyes closed.
Right. Yeah, we did establish that. Yeah.
Yeah, and with the ability with my eyes open, it's the same. It never changes. And with the ability with my eyes closed, it's the same. It never changes.
Okay, that's very interesting. Again, a lot of very unique things here.
Never thought about like trying to visualize something and I couldn't.
Right. And that does happen to people.
That's crazy.
All right. Do you tend to visualize things you've already seen before? Or do you tend to create new and unique images in your mind?
I like to think they're unique, but I'm pretty sure I've seen them all before.
What about that dancing horse in the first question? Was he something you've seen before, or was that unique?
Okay, that was unique.
All right. So it's probably both. All right. Let's talk about reading. When you read a novel, is it like a movie in your mind or something else?
It's something else. It's not like a movie, but I hear the sounds as if it was a movie. So it's more audible than visual. And that's why I don't like reading that much. It's because I'm so focused on the words, like we've established before, the difference in my visual between my eyes open and my eyes closed.
Right.
Like I'll have dreams about my book that I'm reading, and those are visual. And then I wake up, I'm like, man, why can't I be reading and picture this at the same time? Like this thing.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it frustrates me.
Okay, so you said it's more audible than visual. Is there any visual? Can you visualize the characters, the surroundings?
I can. And the more familiar I am with the book, the better my visuals come. It's like I've had to practice at it. For example, there's this series that I love. It's called The Selection series, 10 out of 10. I recommend. And the more I read it, every time I go back to the book and read it again, the more visual it gets.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. So it seems like there's another one where your ability to visualize varies depending on.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Whoa.
All right. So you hear the sounds, you hear the voices. Do you hear the different voices for different characters?
Yes.
All right. What about audiobooks? Do you like audiobooks?
I don't like audiobooks because I can't focus long enough because I have so much going on in my mind. So I hear it and I feel like two things kind of happen. One, I can't visualize what the heck is going on. It's reading for me, so I can't, my thoughts aren't busy coming up with voices. So I only last like 2 minutes. And then my thoughts start to wander, and I'm thinking about other things, and then I don't know what's happening in the book.
It's time for Youphantasia, the part of the show that lets you chime in and share your thoughts, insights, and experiences. Today's question is, when you read a novel, is it like a movie in your mind? Susan, who is highly visual, answered,
I think it's more intimate than a movie. Like a movie is sort of, I mean, it's three-dimensional, obviously, but it's sort of flat if you compare it to like a book, right? Like the book is, there's so much you get to know about the characters and there's so much going on. It's not really like a movie. It's more like being involved in someone's life.
If you would like to participate and hear yourself featured on the podcast, go to shanesbraindomain.com and click on the Youphantasia section. How vivid and detailed are your dreams?
Very vivid. I feel everything.
Would you compare it to, I mean, you already said that your dreams are way better than the way you do when you read a book. What about when you close your eyes? It feels like you get pretty good visualization when you close your eyes. Is a dream similar to that or even better? Or how would you compare?
It's even better because I feel like all my senses are heightened. For example, like I had a dream one time that me and my niece were in the ocean on a raft. We're fighting off this shark. Anyways, the shark ate her, and it was very terrifying. And I woke up scared for my life, man. It's the most terrifying experience I've ever had. And like the next week, I was like, I didn't want anything to do with the ocean. I called my sister to make sure my niece was okay. And that day, I felt like the emotions were still like wearing off. Like I was sad, I was anxious, I was paranoid.
So your dreams are extremely real.
Yes.
And affect you even days after you've had them. How well do you remember your dreams?
It depends on the night. Sometimes I can't. I know I dreamed, but I can't remember what it was about. Sometimes I can like half explain it. Sometimes I will remember it until the day I die.
What is that based on, do you think? Emotion?
I think a lot of it has to do with emotion and how many times I retold the dream. Because some of my dreams are just hilarious. Like I have this one about the Hunger Games. And that one I've like written down in my journal. I've told a bunch of people. So that one is kind of stuck in my long-term memory.
Right. Okay, let's talk about memory since you bring it up and it's next on my list.
Oh, what a coincidence.
If you want to recall a memory, can you see it in your mind?
Yes.
Can you relive the memory like you're experiencing it all over again?
Yes.
Is there emotion attached to your memories?
Yes.
Do you experience your memories in first person, third person, or both?
Sitting here, right here with you, third person, in my dreams, I'll have dreams about my memories. And it's like I'm experiencing it all over again.
Okay. Interesting. So if you can, give me a little bit more detail about what it's like for you while you're awake to experience a memory. Try and describe it if you can.
Yeah, and I'll have to close my eyes because It's a lot clearer. It's kind of like watching a movie. Let me kind of just walk you through what I pictured. So when you said that, I closed my eyes and I pictured me sitting down in an office and opening up a cabinet and all these files of my memories. And so I picked one to go through. And so and I don't know why, but my visual, I feel like it's like 10 times faster. Like I can just go through a lot. So I sat down in this office, open up the cabinet, pull out a file. I opened up that file and it was like watching a movie. So it's definitely third person. And I could hear the audio. Since I talked about Kelton and the dishwasher earlier, I just relived a memory of a fight we had about loading the dishwasher.
Okay. That is so cool. I'm so glad you went into that detail, because going into the next part in relation to memories, we're talking about mind storage. And that is really cool how you describe that. How you could sit down, go through a file of memories and pick one out. That is awesome and pretty unique, actually. So sounds like there's some sort of a storage system. How would you describe it? Filing cabinet, like you said?
Yeah, probably a filing cabinet. Yeah, I'm having a hard time coming up with the words because, yeah, I've never like really thought about this before. But yeah, definitely a file cabinet. Definitely memories with high emotions stick with me the most.
Okay, there's a saying out there that I always thought was just a figure of speech called search your mind. Would you say you're able to do that? Can you search your mind?
Yeah,
Okay, what's that like?
that's the file cabinet.
Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
the memories.
so would you say there's different rooms or compartments in your mind?
Oh, I've never thought about this before. There can be. I
Okay, in what way?
have to close my eyes again. Give me a minute. I'm searching my mind.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I wanna try to understand this the best I can.
Okay, so as I'm closing my eyes, searching my mind. Oh, I don't want to go to that room. Yeah, there's definitely the rooms are more like different memories I don't want to encounter. I feel like there's definitely versions of like my past self that I walk by as like I search my mind. It's kind of organized into memories and like past versions of myself because we're always evolving and we're always growing and we're always changing. I feel like adult Sammy is definitely different than 5-year-old Sammy and teenager Sammy.
But can you find 5-year-old Sammy in there?
Yeah, she's wearing multiple
She's
clothes.
filed away in there somewhere. You can go experience that. Because 5-year-old Shane is so long gone that I can't find him. He's forever buried in a void of nothingness. You know what I mean? So when you're describing that, like, oh, I don't want to go into that room. Like I can't even really comprehend what's happening. So that is really cool. That is a really cool description. So would you say that you associate your mind with an area or a space?
Not particularly. I guess I just kind of whatever is kind of the most recent thing in my life. So, for example, that's when I closed my eyes, that space was my current apartment.
In what way? Just visually?
Yeah, visually, I'm kind of just walking. Okay, let me close my eyes again. Yeah, so I'm walking through. Yeah, I'm just kind of wandering through my apartment and opening drawers, and those drawers hold files. And then when I walked into my bedroom, yeah, I kind of picture all my past selves kind of lined up in a row.
That is so cool. So you close your eyes, you're in your apartment, but your apartment is filled with your memories in
Yeah,
different
well, it's
places.
a normal apartment. But yeah, they're filled with memories. Open up the drawers, memories. Walk into a room. Oh, hi, Sammy.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool. All right, let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about your job and your interests, your hobbies. Does how you visualize affect how you perform in your career and or your hobbies?
Are we grouping in audible with visual?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, they very much affect my job because the more familiar and I guess the more efficient that I get at my job at Crumble, the harder it is to do my job because I'm not as present. Because the more comfortable I get with the procedures and making dough and baking cookies, the more relaxed I get. So the more mindless it becomes. So naturally, my mind wanders and I start going back to memories. I start reliving past experiences. And sometimes I get too deep into my mind where it ruins my day. Ruins my whole day. Because I struggle, like I've mentioned, with like anxiety and depression. So sometimes my mind will just be wandering. And so sometimes traumatic experiences will come up. And it's kind of like daydreaming or like a trance almost. And it's definitely more audible than visual. For example, at Crumble, we make dough and then we ball cookies. So I'm sitting there balling cookies, doing my job, and my mind will wander and the emotions run high and I feel it. And then a customer comes in and I kind of like wake up, it feels like a jolt.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, whoa, like, get me out of that zone.
Right. So what about, you said earlier that you write songs?
Yeah,
Have you
I
written
do.
songs before? What's that like? Do you like hear the song in your mind first, or what's it like to write a song?
I hear the song, and then I pick up my I mainly write songs on my ukulele. I try to use the notes that I know to find the song I created in my head.
Do you do well in school, or do you struggle?
I do well.
Okay. How do you think your visualization abilities play a role in that?
I think it helps. I feel like it depends on the subject. It helped. I took a neuroanatomy class last semester, and my visualization skills definitely helped because I was able to close my eyes, visualize the brain, the different parts of the brain, and so I was able to connect things better. And I feel like that definitely helped my learning. In my other classes, I mainly study the system of families and like relationships. I felt like it was a fun part, but I don't think it necessarily aided because it was mainly like writing papers, evaluating relationships, and I didn't need to study visually, if that makes sense.
Okay. All right. So we're going to pretend we're in school here for a minute.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you some questions, and I want to know what your process was in solving.
Wait, teacher?
Yeah.
Can I use the hall pass?
No. Pay attention, Sammy. Come on. Fold your arms. All right. Very obedient. Okay. Can you spell the word stormy backwards?
Yes.
Do it as fast as you can.
Oh, fast. Y-M stormy. Y-M-R-O-T-S.
Correct. All right. What was happening in your mind? What was your process?
I closed my eyes and imagined the word. And
then just read it backwards?
Yeah. I mean, it was hard under pressure. Kind of made me freak out. But
well,
anxiety got to me.
Do you think you could do the whole alphabet that way?
I could.
Okay. See, that's a talent right there. Some people think it's a indication that you're not drunk, but that has nothing to do with it. I can tell you that right now. Here's the next one. What is 28 plus 47?
75.
Correct.
I did it! I had to close my eyes, but I was also like, I had to like draw it with my finger to get it fully organized. Like it was hard. I would picture it, but then it would go away. Okay. And so I was kind of tracing it on my leg as I was picturing it, and that helped it stay in place so I could finish the problem. I also just haven't done math in a long time. So I was like, wait, what's 8 plus 7? So I was stacking it.
So your leg is like permanent marker?
Yeah.
It's so crazy the things people say when I ask them these questions. It's so entertaining. All right. Okay, last one. Or at least last part of our school here. What states border Iowa?
Oh, man. I mean, I can picture the U.S. map, but I don't know what's on it.
We are almost done. Last question. If you were to try to give a general description of how your mind works and what you see in your mind's eye, how would you describe it? And this is kind of just a catch-all question. Just kind of sum it up. For example, I would describe mine as quiet and dark. How would you describe yours?
Chaotic and bright.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, it was really interesting. I feel like I learned a lot about myself, and how much my emotions really do play into like my memory and my visualization. It's very interesting how all our sensories are kind of connected.
So many questions you said. I'd never thought about that before. And I get that over and over and over and over again with people. So it's cool to take the time to sit here and identify some of the things that make us us and realize that we're unique in that way. Because a lot of times we just assume everybody's the same until we delve into it and think, oh, yeah, that's something I never heard before. I say that a lot every time I've interviewed somebody. So
Yeah, I felt like I was searching my mind and discovering my mind here. It's crazy.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. It was fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You are welcome. Have a fantastic day.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you later.
Alrighty.
Bye.
Bye.
If you like what you hear, please subscribe, follow, and engage with us, and share it with your friends and family as we continue to explore this fascinating subject. For additional information about this episode or Shane's Brain, check out the show notes. Thanks for listening to the Discovering Your Mind podcast. You are beautifully unique.